Dashboard. Periscope online, Facebook online, Twitch online, YouTube events on. You sure you're online? You look a little sketchy there. DLive online. Okay. That's looking good. Let's see what Facebook has to say, actually. I know it says it's online, but it can act really sketchy. It's been really... Man, is it just me or is this Facebook a super slog now? Periscope online, Facebook online, Twitch. All right, there we go. I'm going to pop this up in 2 seconds. Give me a... So I guess I could put the Zoom link in here, but, you know, where would I do it? Would I put that? See, that's the thing. I still don't know how to do the clickable stuff on OBS. I know it. I sure know it's doable. I could put a little things that you click. I don't know if you can do that on like Facebook and all that stuff. I don't know. You know what? I'm not going to mess with that. That looks good. Restream chat looks like it's up. I think that's it. So I'm gonna pull the Zoom thing up. So if anybody wants to show up, just send me a message, or I'll see you if you click the link that I shared earlier. Let me just want to check. Sorry, one more thing. Yeah, let's see if this can be mirrored. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Just about ready here. Okay, welcome to Dropping In at Pipeline Audio. This is number 82, and the old saying, if it ain't backed up in 3 places, it don't exist. Okay, first thing I want to say, and yeah, of course you're going to think this has nothing to do with music. It has everything to do with music. It's quite possible, there's a claim out there that there is a rapid test for the illness that Facebook and YouTube will ban me for mentioning, but Michael Mina is probably the most well known for this. He said if we can get rapid tests going, where you can cheap enough and fast enough where you can take them every morning before you go to school, before you go to work, we could be, for the most part, out of this mess. There's a lot of media, anti-science media nonsense, and this was coming from both left and right. Nonsense about accuracy. This test, accuracy is the wrong word to use. Let's get a real virologist on here. They can really tell you that sensitivity and specificity are the important words here. But the way I understand it, and I could be wrong, but the way I understood the way Michael Mina was saying this is that the PCR tests will detect the DNA or the RNA, whatever, of the no-no word, even long after you're no longer infectious. That doesn't really do much for you to get back to work or to get back to school. It is the more accurate, I shouldn't use that word, it's a more accurate test, but it's not going to do what we need done until we have this vaccine. The idea is, if you audio guys, think of it as a little dynamic window here. So if something passes, so there'll be an on threshold and let's see, it's a hysteresis effect. There you go. It's a noise gate with the hysteresis effect. Excuse me. It's not sensitive enough to detect very low levels of the thing. But it's most infectious. As far as, if I'm remembering it right, it's the day of and the day before symptom onset is when you have the highest. Can I say virus? I can say virus. When you have the highest viral load, when you're the most infectious, or they think so far, the time you're the most infectious is the day of and the day before, and someplace around there of when symptoms show, and especially since there's a lot of asymptomatic people. With classic no word, it was so nasty that people became really infectious after symptoms started, and the symptoms were nasty. So we were able to actually catch that pretty quick. With this one, it's the wrong way. You will transmit before you ever are symptomatic, and that is a huge problem. So we need to be able to catch it when it's most infectious, and we need to test every day that you're going to go out and interact with people in close quarters. And if we can do that before work, before school, hey, if your restaurant costs enough, you could make people take this before they even walk in your restaurant. I mean, this could be a game changer. It's just huge. This could really, until we have a vaccine anyway, and we don't know. I hate to be a real downer, but we don't know necessarily that a vaccine is really going to work, or we don't even know what immunity means for this right now. It's been quite goofy. So this could put us back in clubs. This could open the restaurants back up. This could do a lot. This is really, really big news. We've been hoping for this test for a while. The media has stomped all over it. It's to the point where maybe even the FDA won't allow it. But here's one from Oceanit, right here in Hawaii. And even better, I've always long lamented that if you open up a catalog of just about any trade, of course, save for like ukuleles or coconuts or something, cars, computers, whatever STEM field you're into, you're just not going to find stuff in that catalog that came from Hawaii. And that's sad. But this one is. So this is a chance for Hawaii to be on the tech map, and hopefully it's good. I mean, you know me, that's like a broken record. I have been trying for years to talk to the schools around here and government, anybody who'll listen and get me coders. My coders are awesome, but none of them live here. None of them are from here. Most of the projects that I've worked in my whole life, the programmers have not come from Hawaii. None of the programmers that I've worked with have come from Hawaii, and that's sad. But this is awesome. This is us, possibly leading the world. This is unreal. If you really want to get into it, you can just type in Oceanit, like OCEANIT.com, or just Oceanit and then rapid test. I think it'll come up. It seems like let me read you a little bit of this. Now, the ideal is just to lick a stick, right? You just lick a piece of paper and then see what happens. But this seems to have a third step. With the sure molecules, this can be done at room temperature. The test specimen spit in a cup doesn't need to be processed through a time-consuming laboratory technique called PCR. After shaking for a few seconds to mix, the specimen is applied to the test stick, and the reaction result occurs in just minutes. Assure tests are a simple, safe, reliable, and effective testing platform that enables affordable, rapid, highly specific testing. So this isn't quite the lick-a-stick thing, but as hopefully as long as that third part isn't hard to get and can be in every household, this is definitely doable. So this could be a game changer, and so yeah, of course you guys are saying what in the world does this have to do with music? Hey. The sooner you guys get back into bars, the sooner we're out of this, man. Like, this is a biggie. We're probably not gonna, the term people keep saying is new normal, right? And it is going to be a new normal. But the music world has always been very quick to adapt and to move. And, given a tool this powerful, I think we can get some shows going again, right? How many ticket rip-off people are there out there? Let's let them pay for the test. Stand out in the line, take your test, come on into the show. How about that? Not even having to wear a mask. Maybe that could be completely irresponsible for me to say. I'm not sure, but It'd be nice to take a look at this. I think this is a huge possibility. So, and wherever you are, I'd love it if we were first. I'd love it if Hawaii sold this to the rest of the world. That would be awesome. But more important, let's get out of this stupid mess that most likely could have been prevented. Let's not even get into that craziness, but let's be ready for next time. Let's get this tech up and ready. This isn't going to be the last time that something's going to jump across species or mutate or whatever. Wherever you live, tell them, Hawaii got you first, so you guys better get on it. If there's a bunch of these on the market competing, the faster we can get them out, the quicker we'll be out of this mess. I want to go to the skate park. I can't go to the skate park right now. It's time to go. All right. So that's that. Get your tech in line. Let's get back to our shows. Let's get back to recording. Let's get back to NAMM. Could you imagine? We didn't have NAMM, right? Like, well, what are we going to do? Okay. 2022, let's have a NAMM, and this will do it. Okay. So next thing here, and why we call it, if it's not in three places, it don't exist. If you haven't backed up to three places, it don't exist. People say this a lot with the if you've ever had the fun of a failed hard drive that has your entire recording project on it. It's not good, and I'm guilty of that all the time, and that's terrible of me. But what I like to do, at least for mixes, like when I know I'm ready to mix, I'll put something on Dropbox and I'll use it as a I'll use it as my hard drive. It actually exists on a local hard drive, and I'll mix to it. But of course, that's when you have the save error, right? The error you get. In fact, I'll read this from the Reaper form. Help. I use Reaper primarily for voiceover work. Pretty straightforward. Maybe a couple tracks. I'm in, out, done with my project, on to the next. Yesterday and today specifically, I'm receiving an error when trying to save my project and it's slowing me down. And the error is the Dropbox error that comes up because Dropbox has to sync across all its locations. And it is kind of dangerous, right? If you, let's say, if you know how these things work, I'm not really good. I know Justin used to have that path sync thing that really figured this out for you. But if you're not familiar with Dropbox, get Dropbox. Get the free version at least, so that you can share mixes and whatever projects you have to share with other musicians. It's really handy. You right-click the file and it gives you a link to it that you can just paste. Very handy. But let's say it's in. Let's just talk about Dropbox, like you have it on your computer at work and you have it on your computer at home, and you're sharing a certain folder. What it does is it puts, at least the way I use it, maybe there's a cloud only option for it. That sounds terrifying to me, but whatever you have on your computer, it uploads to the cloud version, and then that version goes to the other computer. So at all times, both computers are supposed to have the same version of the file, or the same files. The same files and the same versions, and that's where it gets ugly. You could have a newer file and an older file. And so let's say you save at one spot. What does it do? Ditch the older file and just overwrite with the newer file? That seems to be how it works. I'm really not sure on the rules. I wish maybe somebody can come tell me what these actual rules exactly are, but it's something like that. So what happens if you just you've been working on your project and you haven't saved it for a while, maybe an hour or so, and maybe on your remote computer somebody's doing something. They didn't touch that file, but would it ever just like check and sync and just wipe out the changes you just made? Is that why the error comes up in Reaper? Or I think the error happens to me when autosave is on. And in fact, lots of times it happens when I go to save. I'll click save and it'll give me the error and say, I couldn't overwrite file or whatever. So that's a problem. I've heard a way out of this is to pause your Dropbox syncing when you're working on your project, and then when you're all done, you save your project, and then you click resume sync. And I'm assuming that it's going to take the newer file and upload that to the cloud and to your other connected computers. I'm assuming that. Aside from that, I've had a really good time doing this to Dropbox. It's been no problem. Aside from that, it's been great. In fact, I really like it. But I did take a look at. There was some other things going on here. So there's I found a page called decibelpeak.com. And the page is called Cloud Storage for Music Production. The title is Best Cloud Storage for Music Production, Google Drive, Dropbox, and iCloud. And they describe how Google Drive can work. And I did ask this week from a couple people, and it seems like there's a thing called google.com/drive/download. Access and sync your content from any device. It seems like it will mirror your Google Cloud Drive to a hard drive on your desktop or on your computer. I think that it does that. I think that it works like Dropbox. I was gonna try it. I'm scared to download it. Man, it's kind of crazy. Like, I'm usually the early adopter, right? But I'm actually kind of scared to download this, but I'll give it a try. But I think it's supposed to work like Dropbox. I don't know if you get that right-click integration of Dropbox, which is the most awesome thing ever. That seems to be an option. Mike Diebler sent me a link to this thing called Mountain Duck, and that's at mountainduck.io. And I'll read you the description here. It says, Mountain Duck lets you mount server and cloud storage as a disk in Finder on Mac OS and the File Explorer on Windows. Hold on one second. Hey.
What's going on?
I'm on there. What do you need?
Oh, nothing. Just checking. What are you doing?
My show.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, everything. There's a 4040 in there, or Audio Technica AT4040 or something in the in the booth.
Oh, okay.
So that one's good to sing through. All right, this is real world here. Okay, so Mountain Duck. Okay, let me read this again. Mountain Duck lets you mount server and cloud storage as a disk in Finder on Mac OS and the File Explorer on Windows. Open remote files with any application and work like a local volume. That's the words that I want to hear from the Google thing. This last part. Open remote files with any application and work like on a local volume. As far as I can tell, that just means that you're gonna have it on your hard drive just like any other hard drive. And so it's pay. I'm not sure how much it costs. I really want to give this a try though, because actually I might hit the comparison. Let's see what we got. I don't see a price on here. I think he said it wasn't very much though. See, man, I hate when I can't just find a price here. Buy. Let's see. I got $39. Is that per month or is that forever? On a per seat basis, you buy a license for anyone who wants to use their software. One license can be used on any number of computers as long as it's the same user. License is valid for one specific major version. Oh, nice. $40 for that. That's pretty awesome, actually. But I don't understand, where do you put it onto Google Cloud or something? Or do they have their own drive? No, they don't have their own drive, right? Like I don't know. Is somebody sorry, Mike, if you could tell me more about Mountain Duck, Mount Server and Cloud Storage. I assume you still would be using like Google Drive or Dropbox or something, but this sounds good. I'm going to bug you about this more, Mike. Okay, the other one, Apple iCloud, I have no idea. I'm a little terrified to use any Apple product, so maybe that one works for you. This other one, Splice.com. So this is kind of interesting. They have rent-to-own plugins and royalty-free samples and free unlimited cloud storage for your projects. That's pretty crazy. Let's see what this costs. So Splice, I've heard of Splice before. I've seen people talk about it. And again, I'm having trouble finding a price. Studio. Let's see. Sync your studio. Sign up for free. Okay. What if I actually want to know how much it costs? Go back to any version. Whoa, seriously, this does versioning? Oh, I think I think this only works for like Logic or something like that. Boy, man, I cannot find. I can't find a price. Well, anyway, it sounds cool. Guys, put your prices on your stuff. There's no need to hide it, unless you're one of those like per month vampire things. But anyway, that's what I'm looking at. Dropbox and just do the pause syncing, or maybe that Mountain Duck, or give Google Drive a try. I have no idea how Google. I need to download it and not be chicken and just do it. But I'm a little paranoid on the Google stuff sometimes. Let's see what else we got. So that's the cloud storage. There is a thing. Okay, and this drives me nuts. And I don't know how many times people have tried to tell me how to get out of this, and it just never seems to work. But when I send, I'm using Gmail, and I got Google Drive or whatever, and you send a big file like something off to the mastering lab, and it says file is too big. It'll be shared as a Google Drive link instead. And then when you go to send it, it says user is not in your circle or whatever, and click to allow anyone with the link can view or download or whatever. And I always allow that. And yet every time I have to, the guy says he can't download it, and I get an email that's asking for permission. Then when I give permission, it works. But why doesn't this work in the first place? I don't know. Drives me nuts. The other thing is when you're talking about cloud storage in DAWs and recording and whatever. Another subject comes up all the time, this cloud collaboration, right? Or how do you share your mixes with clients? I tell you, with Dropbox, you if you want to just send off an MP3 or whatever, you have it in your Dropbox folder already. You just right-click the file, copy Dropbox link, and paste it to them. That is so nice and easy. It even works across Crapple devices like iPhones and things like that. It usually works. There is actually a Dropbox version for iOS. It's pretty sketchy to me, but it seems kind of to work. So collaborating with your band, we've talked many times about how to share like a project with your bandmates and everything. That's an important thing. You can go back to those other episodes, or better yet, I'm sure John Tidy has a really good video, like he always has videos on this kind of stuff. Take a look at sharing your projects with other people. But there's also like real-time collaboration. So of course there's Ninjam, right? You play with other people online in what he calls fake time, because you all start 8 measures behind or whatever. But I've become kind of the forgotten person in the Reaper community. But it was seeing Ninjam that made me think, hey, this is possible that this guy could make a DAW, and that's Reaper, So you go way back in Reaper history, and there's Ninjam. So, if you ever want to go, just ninjam.com, ninjam.com, and take a look. So if I type in Ninjam, you never know what you're going to get. You might end up with the DJ and turntables and a guy playing drums and a French guy screaming death metal and a rapper. You never know what you're going to get. But bands can use this for practicing. Since the no word happened, you have actual choirs that are using this to practice, which is pretty incredible. There's been other collaboration software out there. I really want to look more into this Splice. That looks pretty smart, but I don't think it's like real time jamming or anything. But that's pretty cool. What else do we have here? Okay, sorry, let me get my notes. So the other one, there are actual online DAWs. I have no idea how that's supposed to work. I know these people keep pushing this on me. I don't believe that in any time soon that I'm going to be multi-tracking a live drum kit to the cloud. I do it to my Dropbox local drive, and it uploads eventually, but I'm not doing it as it's going, right? But there really are online DAWs, which is the screwiest thing to think about to me. Like the guys who own Cakewalk now is BandLab. They have something, I think it's Bandcamp, BandLab. Let's see what Lander has, LNR. Soundtrap, web-based cross-platform collaborative music recording studio. Amped Studio, unique online DAW made for producers to create quickly. Its hum feature allows you to turn your singing and beatboxing into MIDI data. That sounds awesome. Man, I know some guys that, they don't really have any gear or anything, but they do a lot of like beatboxy kind of stuff. Man, that'd be awesome for them. That's really cool. Sound Station, Audio Tool, and yeah, here's BandLab. So these are the guys that own Cakewalk. Who knows if more of Cakewalk's going to be getting online that way. I don't know. Could be. Okay, so next thing. Sorry, we have have some noise in the background. Okay, so Lancaster has put out ODR1. I don't know if you saw the Glenn Fricker video on this today. I think there's a Warren Hewitt produced like a pro video out on this. This is a, I think it's like another, like everybody talks about like this is the most famous plugin, the legendary ODR overdrive. I don't know. I've never heard of this thing before, but apparently a lot of people use this thing. It looks like the 808, you know, the Ibanez Tube Screamer pedal that everything uses in front of their recording chain for distorted guitars. But it had some other features. I was told by the developer that it will do the filtering that that you're used to from your Tube Screamer. And then they added, let's see, let me tell you the features. Flawless digital recreation of the legendary Nobles ODR1. Retains guitar dynamics, retains a guitar's dynamics while still giving an overdrive tone tolerance modeling. Available on PC and Mac, selectable voltage, bass cut, mono stereo, low CPU, classic tones from Gary Moore, Brian Adams, and more. I don't know. Preset saving, no annoying dongle protection. Yes, no annoying dongle protection. So this thing's on right now for $47. One of the cool things that they had was a voltage modeler, like you could undervolt it or overvolt it. I guess overvolt for more headroom, but when they undervolted it, all of a sudden it started making the chopper sounds. Right? It actually was pretty cool. I don't know that it's the same thing as in like a Big Muff or whatever, but it had that kind of sound, like it just that crazy chopped up. When we did the Droid album, he had some kind of like Destructifier kind of distortion thing, and when you turn when they showed the demo of turning the voltage way down, it kind of made that sound. So this is pretty cool. I don't know if you want to buy a standalone distortion pedal, the overdrive pedal or whatever, and do people really use this for overdrive? I don't know. I should go try this thing. I'm gonna. Alex, I'm gonna be bugging you for where I download this thing. So you guys go check it out. Lancaster Audio. These are the guys that make pulse impulse response plug-in. Let's see what else they got. Yeah, the pulse impulse loader. They make tons of impulse responses and stuff. Kemper profiles. Yeah, piles of impulse responses, and this is one of the most trusted names in impulse response. I don't know if they actually tell you. Let me see if they say about who they are. I mean, I hope I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to spill any beans, but I can tell you that Lancaster has a pedigree in impulses. So let's see. Yeah. Okay. About us. Yeah, he doesn't actually say it. I wonder. I'll ask and we can see. But it just says that Lancaster Audio engineers industry-leading music production software. Our guitar cabinet impulse responses and Kemper amp profiles have received critical acclaim and are featured in the studios and stages of top producers and recording artists worldwide. Trust me, you've heard these impulses. They may have been under a different name, or maybe it's not these exact impulses, but impulses that they were involved in, you have heard. So these are good guys. Go check this thing out if you like that. What do you call it? What's the name of this thing? Nobles ODR1 overdrive pedal. You probably want this plug-in version. And now with that chopper kind of sound, I actually want this plug-in. So I'm gonna go get it. Okay. So I really enjoyed this post over at the Gear page. The title of the post is "I Can't Afford This," and the post says, "I've spent over $5,000 on pedals this year. I don't play in a band at the moment or anymore. Please convince me I've done the wrong thing and I should stop. Help! I can't stop. I'm old now, 42. This shouldn't happen, right?" So this guy's spent $5,000 on guitar pedals this year. Crazy. of course, he's answered by somebody underneath. A friend of mine spent $5,000 on a kayak and uses it twice a year and pays another $500 a year to store the thing. So you're not doing so bad. So, okay. That's kind of putting it into perspective. But, I don't understand you pedal guys. What the hell is it with this pedal nuttiness? I know I don't want to get into this crazy analog digital debate or hardware versus software or whatever. But holy hell, man. Why do you guys have so many stupid one-trick pedals? I don't know. I don't get it. You guys have these giant pedal boards full of these like analog pedals that, you can't save presets or anything. It's set one way. You step on it, you do this crazy tap dance. A couple years ago when I was getting a little bit healthier, I went and played in a band for a little while anyway. And one of the shows we played, I get on stage, or we're supposed to get on stage. It's only it's like kind of a jam thing. So it's each band had a couple songs, and one band didn't get to play because this guy put on like a car hood worth of pedal board, this giant pedal board, tons and tons of pedals. Took forever to get it all plugged in and working, and it kept cutting out and making all this trouble, and it was finally he got it going, but he put it working in quotes. The thing was so noisy and just so nasty and stupid sounding. It was just ridiculous. I mean, I know you guys, man, I'm straining my credibility, I'm sure, but I'm betting that any one of these Line 6 things with the multiple processor thingies like the Helix or whatever could do everything these pedals do. I'm sure an Axe Effects can do it all. I'm sure you just like with mic preamps and things where people pretend to hear a difference and claim all this stuff. Maybe you hear something. I don't know. I think you pedal guys are crazy. I think you guys are absolutely nuts. But I guess you guys like that Noble's ODR1, huh? I mean, sure, if you really use this stuff, go nuts. But man, I can't imagine spending $5,000 on pedals. $5,000, I'm gonna go buy an Axe Effects or a Kemper or something. I don't know, a Helix. I'll go buy a Bradshaw board at least to plug those stupid pedals into. Do they still make that stuff? I'm sure somebody has something like a Bradshaw board now, right? But the whole thing feels so Luddite, like you're going back in time. You're giving up functionality for no reason that I can really see. Like it is easier just to patch something around with a cable, I guess, but not if they're all taped to your board and all this. Oh man, I would just. Well, what do I know? I play through my computer, and that time I actually played through an iPad. That was what I used. That was my foray into seeing how mobile guitar stuff, what the current state of technology for that stuff was. So anyway, I'd go buy a Helix. I know I said Helix, and I'm not always the biggest Line 6 fan. In fact, many times I'm not a Line 6 fan at all. But I think they did pretty good with that thing. I don't like the interface. I don't like the way most of it works, but it does what it's supposed to do. So I don't know. Okay, now this is interesting. I've been trying to get my hands on an Audix D6. We recently changed a lot of what we're doing here, gear-wise, and I thought I was going to have to give up the ATM 230s, which I really like. One of my favorite kick mics ever was that ATM 25. This sorry. Okay, I lost my voice somehow. I have no idea what's going on. Hopefully this isn't the no-no word. I don't think so. Anyway, sorry. Where was I? Oh, yeah, okay. I have Beta 52. I have a D112. I have the ATM 230s. I got 421s. I even have this RE20 that I'm talking through right now, but really want a D6. I love them every time I use them. And Guitar Center's been out of them for a long time. And so I asked on the, I think on Metal Audio Engineers or something, and an actual rep from Audix responded. Yeah, I guess I'm not sure. I don't want to read between the lines too much, but maybe Guitar Center's not going to be getting any for a while. But I was terrified that they had discontinued this thing, or Audix was going out of business or whatever. But everybody was pointing out that that these were available on Sweetwater and quite a few other places. And like I said, the Audix rep went and actually told me that they're there. And he actually put a video up that shows how the D6 was made. Really cool video with a lot of like 3D machining and stuff if you're into that kind of thing. So the great D6 scare is over, I hope. So I guess I'm just gonna have to order from someplace else. Hopefully that factory doesn't burn down like everything else in Oregon right now. So I'm not sure if they actually make their mics here in the United States, but they do definitely have an office here. I also got a chance to ask him about the difference between the D2s and D4s and why so many people always put D2s on the rack toms and D4s on the floors. He said that the bandwidth of the D6 goes lower, or yeah, D4 goes lower than D2. I would figure I would just use a high pass filter if it was too low. I don't understand why we wouldn't just use D4s across all of them. And that sounds like if I do get D4s, that's exactly how I'd be running. I'll just run them all the toms on D4s. I've been trying to get my hands on some snare mics, but I do have the Beta 56. I'm perfectly happy with that. Also, I wanted because of, not to sound like a stuck record, but we talk about it every single time, routing audio between different applications in Windows, especially between ASIO and non-ASIO apps, and especially between apps that don't have VST or some other sensible plugin format. I want to, yes, there's voice meter, yes, there's all this stuff, but I want to keep my low latency audio because a lot of times when I'm using this stuff, I'm actually tracking through the DAW. I need the low latency drivers. And because of that, I have to do some loopbacks in order to do what I'm doing right now. I'm using actually 2 sets of loopback right now to do this show. And so I figured I'd get a Focusrite 8i6, I think it's called. It has 2 channels of loopback. I wonder if I could actually just use them separately, so I only need the 1 channel loop. Interesting. No, because sometimes I need stereo. Sorry. So it has 6 outs, and I think it's a SPDIF in and out. Yeah, SPDIF I/O. So I could just plug an RCA cable between the SPDIFs for one loopback, and then use the internal loopback for the other, and that'd be okay. At least until some really smart company comes out with the way to end this nightmare once and for all. And maybe there's a smart company that'll do that. But anyway, I was trying to get an 8i6, and those are out. So remember at the beginning of all this, Focusrite was saying they were having a really good time. And hey, don't knock them for it. I'm glad they were there to provide stuff for people. But yeah, they keep selling stuff out. So hopefully Guitar Center will get another chunk of these pretty soon, because I need one of these. Focusrite 8i6. Unless somebody has one for cheap, let me know. I'll probably get it. What was the next thing? All right, so I had to get some safety gear for my bike, and it's just crazy how little information is out there. Basic stuff like sizes. How tall is the thing? How wide is it? I used to wear a chest protector in BMX. If they're too wide, you can't get your arms together enough for bar spins and stuff like that. You actually need some dimensions, and there was so little. The manuals were which ones have manuals? The manuals are horrific, and yes, we're guilty. We don't really have manuals for some of our plug-in stuff, but man, it was just a nightmare trying to find any actual information on this stuff. It's crazy. And then I remembered my time in the App Store when I'm trying to say I want to run my guitar through my iPad or the Bluetooth pedals and things like that, and just how little information was out there. It's weird. We live in the information age, and not so long ago, Google would find you a lot of what you were looking for. But now, to save my life, even using DuckDuckGo or whatever, I can't find jack about the safety gear. I can't find jack about a lot of the audio stuff. Frankly, we've had to do lately. Remember, I had to do the one about who's got word clocks on them, who's got terminators, who doesn't. The information doesn't exist. The craziest one for me was Floyd Rose. I actually ended up having to call Floyd Rose for just some basic stuff about how to read the saddles, which ones go on which inner, outer, middle. I actually had many different printings on them. Actually, I have an article on my website at pipelineaudio.net. One of these days, I'll do a show about guitar tech stuff, and it is crazy how hard it was to find that information. And some of it I just couldn't find without calling them up. It was nuts. We live in the information age. There's no reason for this. And I cracked up when I ended up calling one of these companies, a helmet company that is very, very popular, and their customer service, there was a defect, and they made it oh man, are you gonna make us do a return authorization and all that? They made it I'm hurting them to go put it back in a box and have them give me what I actually bought. Nuts, but. They talk about, for instance, they say there's these little cavities in there for putting speakers in your headphones or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'll go find a video or a manual or something that'll tell me what speakers they're using and how to do it. Nothing. And so I call them up, and they're like, oh, we can't really tell you anything. And I'm like, man, this is the craziest customer service. Have you guys, a lot of you have my number. You can email me at any AIX DSP guys. Let me know. Have I not responded to you in an extremely timely fashion and with the best possible information I could get my hands on? This is not the age, or maybe it is. I would assume that this is not the age to have poor customer service, and yet there's so much stuff out there with non-existent information. It's pretty bizarre. You can order some pretty expensive stuff without any actual tangible specs or just the basic information you'd expect. Things like chest protectors, for instance. I would expect to see some videos of people riding with these things, and a lot of it you just got to buy and hope. This is crazy, man. When it comes to audio gear, everything, because of what's going on, everything is mail order right now. So not having the information is just pain. If it's a big, heavy thing and you got to send it back, ouch, man. You guys, please put an FAQ or something on your gear. Some of this software, don't even get into the App Store where you just buy the stuff without even knowing, because there are no demos. This is the information age. Share some information. You guys want to know about our plugins? You can catch me on Facebook. You can email me. Catch me on any of the forums. You know where to find me. I'm going to answer you. I may make you a video to answer your question. You know, so come on, companies. You can do way the hell better. Okay, now what else we got? Oh, yeah. So, of course, the Glenn Fricker thread is still going on at GS. You know, we talked about that a couple weeks ago where people, you know, like we say on this show all the time, people make claims about mic preamps or make claims about this or that gear, and they pretend that they can hear a difference, and maybe they can, but they'll never provide evidence. You ask them, if you tell me the mids are more forward, okay, that's definitely a measurable thing. Go measure it. Tell me how much more decibels from flat the thing is than flat. You know, you can measure that stuff, and invariably, nobody provides you any evidence whatsoever. They'll just insult you for the most part. They'll say, "Oh, if you can't hear it, then you got no business being in audio." But you know, you can't hear it either, because we all know that infamous test where a bunch of pretend know-it-alls had to pick between their favorite mic preamps out of all the big ones they constantly talk about, Neves and APIs and SSLs and whatever else, and they ended up picking the Art and the Mackie. So you know what, you guys suck it. Anyway, so yeah, again, more claims. Oh, obviously this mic preamp is so much more forward and the highs are more silky, and yet nobody will put that into numbers or provide any evidence, whatever. Then some guy comes and complains about, oh, here it is. Nevertheless, there is a big flaw in Fricker's so-called Hammer of Truth test video. Can you spot it? So in the Hammer of Truth, Glenn Fricker got the Clark Technic version of the Pultec EQ. I don't want to open that can of worms, but he tested it up against some other Pultec EQs, and I'm not going to say real, because when I was at Vintage, we had piles of Pultec EQs, and since then I've had Pultec EQs. One of them was an actual magical voice chain. It was a Neumann M49 into a Neve Kelso into an LA2A into a Pultec. That was Stevie Nicks' vocal chain for a lot of what we did. A lot of you guys know her from using the 441, but really when she was doing the really intimate whispery stuff, this was the chain. It was an M49. And no matter how hard I tried, when I patched it into one of the other Pultecs, if I had happened to be using the one I had normally used on her on something else, it was just different. And you know, I'm the one who complains and tells people, hey, you better test this. And I test it, and you could see on an O-scope pretty easily that these things were acting different than each other. Same model, same settings, whatever. So anyway, he tested the Clark Technic version, which is, you know, cheap, against the another one, and he didn't end up liking it, and he ended up taking a sledgehammer and smashing it up, which is pretty funny, and that's, you know, typical Glenn stuff. But so this guy is saying, you know, again, there's a big flaw in Fricker's so-called Hammer of Truth test video. Can you spot it? And so, you know, we ask, of course, what's the flaw? I could actually think of a couple too, but you know, here's this guy who says this thing, and then he goes and fills up the whole damn thread. Well, there's two that I know of. Do tell. Somebody says, it's your observation, share with the group. And the guy puts another post up, are you sure? And so they keep asking, hey, you know, you keep talking about this thing, just tell it what the flaw is. And put up another thread, another post. The OP's question is about converters, therefore I'll refrain from turning this thread otherwise. This line of thought is about the EQ, PKT is best discussed elsewhere. Then he puts up another post. Happy to post my thoughts in the appropriate thread. Then he puts up another post. Okay, this thread. And so you go click this other thread. And thankfully, this user named Givertrix, I guess he must have clicked on that thing, and he said, "Okay, I will look again when something happens. You should teach Glenn about clickbait." Now, here's this guy who says, "Oh, I don't want to clog up this thread with this thing," and so he goes and posts a million posts about not clogging up the thread, and never gives the answer. Maybe he gives it in the other thread. I don't care, at this point. But apparently, at the time that was posted, he hadn't. He's just this. This is what I call a troll. This ain't even a good troll. This is just, ouch. This is like, again, on the same forum. Of course, you know where that is on GS, right? Remember we talked about this where the guy was thinking of hiring Fletcher and wanted to hear an album that Fletcher had done. Hey, you want to get your car worked on? You want to make sure that car shop has cars that actually are able to drive away. You don't want some idiot wrecking your car, right? I mean, it's only fair to ask for previous work. This is ridiculous. And there was thread upon thread upon thread, or post upon post upon post of saying, "Why are you asking? Why are you asking?" You could have just said what it was. I went for pages before anybody said anything. And shocker, even though that used to be one of my heroes and stuff, when that stuff was actually posted, man, okay. But that's why. Be suspicious of people who are going to obfuscate and insult you instead of giving you answers. I mean, this was silly. I know, you're fine to call Glenn silly or whatever for this one, and whatever. But man, you trolls that just wreck threads, man. You ruin the information content for everybody. And like we say, Google is not getting you information right now. So people like you adding to the noise, man. Fired. You are fired. This crazy thing. So now this company called exonicuk.com has a product called AI Master, fully automatic mastering processor. $69. I'm sure it's something like Lander. Artificial intelligence assisted processing. AI Master automatically analyzes your music and applies the optimal setting to achieve a great sounding, fully mastered track. AI Master will enhance and optimize the dynamic range, spectral balance, stereo field, and overall level to conform to established standards, making your music ready to distribute across multiple platforms and played on any systems. No user input required other than switching from analyze to master mode when the track is finished playing. Available as a 64-bit VST2 and VST3 plugin for Windows and as an AU plugin for Mac. Trial version features full functionality but introduces intermittent noises, mutes. Please try a trial version before purchasing to ensure compatibility with your setup. I'm going to try this thing out. I know. Terrible. I'm a terrible human being. I'm going to try it out. Might be good for production stuff. I don't know. I'm sorry. Some of the Lander stuff wasn't so bad. I know. Whatever. But it's something I may be looking into. I know. But it says 69 pounds. I don't know what that comes out to in real money. And also, what do we got? Okay, somebody's asking, how can we sync audio and video for free? I always you can line it up by eyeball, man, but that's hard. But if at all possible, even if it's a crap mic that comes on your your camcorder or whatever, record the camera's audio and make sure because it's synced to the video right ahead of time. Then you can just zoom in on your DAW and line up some peaks. I'll often do a clap, like back in the way old days where they used that clapper board or whatever. You really don't, if you got a snare or something, it's not going to be hard at all. But, it's not going to hurt you to clap while you're right before you start anything. When filming starts and recording starts, just clap. No big deal. Another something to watch out for though is where are you clapping at? In our room we may have a camera 15 feet away from the drums, for instance, and that's going to be some desynced time by the time it gets there, right? It's like a foot per millisecond or whatever. So be aware. Kind of have an idea of where you were when you clapped. I mean, you're gonna hear it and you're gonna move it around. You'd probably be a lot happier by wiggling it a little bit. So that's how you would. That's how I would do it. Okay. I'm an amateur music. In an amateur music production, is utilizing panning for each instrument necessary, or will it sound fine if I leave them all in the center? I'll put it this way. If it sounds fine with them all in the center, it'll sound even more fine when you go and pan them out to something. But you panning is an artistic choice. You can leave everything in mono. Most stuff is. I know we spend so much time doing all stereo and panning and stuff, but so much is mono anyway. You might leave the kick drum in the middle. You might leave the snare drum in the middle, vocals in the middle. Use the panning to give yourself a little bit of space. But sure, if you want to leave them all in the center, I know it's blasphemy, but I'll leave them all in the center. But the way you say it, it's as if there's something that's holding you back from using that pan knob. Do you have a limited mixer that doesn't have pan controls, or are you worried, as you should be, about the stereo image? So let's say you pan it one way hard and then somebody's in a car and they're sitting on the opposite side and they don't ever get to hear it. Hey, there's nothing wrong with that. I pan the hell out of stuff. So, I am taking a risk of all that stuff happening. But no, you're fine to leave them centered if you want, but go ahead and try panning some stuff out. The obvious one is take a look at how, in case this is actually like a real world ensemble or something, take a look at how everybody's standing and just slowly make a left to right spread with the pan knobs of each instrument. Try it. But if you have to put it in the middle, put it in the middle. Nobody's going to die. Okay, what's the best free alternative to Audacity? I don't know what the problem you're having with Audacity is. But again, Cakewalk, now that BandLab owns it, it's free. I mean, that's a full-featured DAW. I can't quite stand it, but it's definitely a powerful DAW, and I think it's completely free right now. There was that thing we were looking at. Somebody was saying Ocean Audio. Remember we were looking at that a couple weeks ago? I'm still not sure about that one. Oh boy, let's see. What would you say is the best way to learn guitar? I'll tell you, I would have imagined, I'm an okay guitar player. I'd be so much better. Back in the day, you had to put your finger on a tape recorder to slow it down so you could figure stuff out. Or, you would buy these totally inaccurate tablature books from Hal Leonard and other places. And, you could maybe afford to buy a cassette a week, or maybe a record a week or whatever. Nowadays, everything is at your fingertips. You get on YouTube, there's a million YouTube lessons you can go watch right now that'll teach you so much stuff I killed myself to learn, and I learned wrong, because I had to just guess and hope that some book told me something. The books were hopelessly out of date. Maybe the guitar teacher knew something, but the guitar teacher was 40 years older than the music you're talking about. It's really a struggle when I was learning guitar. Nowadays, go on YouTube, take some lessons. Go on Steve Terraberry, Jared Dines, and other comedians, but they actually are highly educational. Guitar Pro or Tux Guitar or any of these free or not too expensive guitar software, ToneLib Jam, they let you do things that we just dreamed of back in the day. You got the speed trainer where you loop a part and it'll speed up every time it plays, and you get better so fast now. It's just use the technology. Get Guitar Pro, something like Guitar Pro, maybe ToneLib Jam or Tux Guitar is free. Power Tab Editor 2.0 I think is free. There's probably some other free ones out there. The Guitar Pro for your iOS or Android is super cheap. Desktop one it's kind of pricey, but it's less than $100 I think, compared to what I spent on lessons and all that crap back in the day. Holy crap. That's how I'd learn guitar. Anyway, I don't know what happened to my voice, so I'm gonna that'll be it for tonight. Oh, this is actually kind of a long one. I'll see you guys next week, and hopefully I'll have some better answers about cloud stuff for DAWs. All right, we'll see you later.